Hi, my name's Ted Bruce. I'm with Wilco Products, and we're here today to demonstrate the installation of an Optima motorized skylight shade. With the Optima motorized skylight shade, after you've unpacked the contents of the box, what you'll have is you'll have a battery tube if you ordered battery power, or a transformer with some wire that could be used to run the power, end rails that are pre-punched and countersunk, side rails for the sides, the motorized skylight shade, a small weather strip that can be used to hold the battery or the battery clips, clips for the bottom rail, clips for the head rail, and the screws needed for that, as well as your instructions. The first step for installation of the Optima Skylight, motorized skylight shade is to install the end rails. They've been pre-drilled and countersunk for easy installation. So your second step, after you've installed the end rails, is to lay the side rail on top of the end rails and screw them in. Like so. After you've installed the end rails and the side rails, you need to install your clips. The motorized head rail clip should be 1/2 inch above the top edge of the end rail, like so. As you can see, the headrail clips are 1/2 inch above the bottom of the end rail. So the bottom of the clip is 1/2 inch distance away. This ensures the shade does not slide on anything or hit anything. Friction is our worst enemy in motorized skylight shades. Just like the headrail clips, the bottom rail clips are also placed so the bottom edge of the clip is 1/2 inch above the edge of the end rail. Again, this ensures the shade will not drag on anything. You can also adjust the turnbuckle to tighten the strings to also make sure that the shade doesn't sag or drag. With a piece of the weather strip attached to the end rail at the head rail position, we've placed the battery tube. This way, the battery is between the shade and the end rail, giving it the best life and performance because it's not exposed directly to sunlight and heat. This also can only be done this way when it's on a horizontal plane. If it's at an angle, you'd have to use the clips that were provided. Now we're going to install the motorized shade. I find it easy is to attach the battery tube and motor connector before I've clipped the shade in. And then I push the head rail in position, angle it, and snap that in. And then take the bottom rail. Make sure that the tension on the strings is tight and that none of the cords, knots are in any of the holes. And connect the bottom rail. Make sure that the rails are centered on both sides. You can tuck in the battery tube wire so it's out of the way and not visible. And make sure the antenna is facing the room. And again, you want to make sure the shade is centered on both sides so it can't scrape on anything. And you're all set. With the remote, you can press the My button. It wakes up the motor. And then if you press the down button, Move your head, make sure it runs properly. See how it's not touching anything? And there's the installation of a motorized skylight shade by Wilco products. The wide angle of the side rail is always facing the room on motorized skylight shades. It's framed completely, and this gives you the most light block and the best performance for this shade.